Hi there, welcome to the first lesson of this course. In this lesson, we're going to work on the female body. The female body is made up mainly of two basic shapes, or boxes as I call them, the pelvis and the torso. The first thing we'll do is find some reference images to base ourselves on. So here we have three strong women, which is what we want, as we're drawing heroines, heroes, women who have strong poses. So in this case, we have these women, and we're going to start with the basic structures, the torso and the pelvis. Let's desaturate the image by going to Image Settings, Desaturate. And once we have the images in black and white, we can start to work on our characters. Now for each of them, what I'll do is draw the shapes of the torso and the pelvis. I'll do it in red so you can see the contrast between the image and what I'm drawing. Lower the opacity of the images so you can see what I'm doing better. Let's start with this one. As you can see, I'm using red, and I'm drawing the action lines for this character. Draw the torso at the height of the waist, like this, and then we can include the rib cage, the chest, just very basic shapes. It's practically a sketch, but we need to know the structures of the skeleton to draw these boxes in properly. Underneath, as you see, we have the pelvis that we'll draw in as a bikini line, only with a 3D structure. Just like one of those models or dolls that we use for drawing poses. Between the torso and the pelvis are some of the muscles that we need to define. In this area, we won't find any bones other than the spine, but we do have the side and front abs. So we need to follow that line. This woman in particular doesn't have very muscly legs and arms. She's quite slim. So we could be able to see her shoulder muscles and maybe some other muscles on the arm, depending how much she's turning or twisting. But in general, it's quite a slim arm. The next pose, we're going to draw the torso and the pelvis quickly, and as you see, twisted or turned like this, so we need to draw it in perspective. We can't use the basic frontal structure as we did before. So for this reason, we really need to understand how the basic shapes work, so you know where they are when the person turns around. Observe where the thighs are, where the arms start, and how the line of the back continues and the front line of the pelvis appears. The third woman we have is stronger, so we can see the muscles a lot more. We'll start with the torso, and like we did with the first one, we'll draw the rib cage and the chest. The chest goes right here, above the sternum, and just below the head, one head above. As you can see in this image, we can't see the pelvis, but that doesn't matter because what I want is to see the muscles properly, which we couldn't for the others because they were much slimmer. Now here we have two very dynamic poses. What I want you to see in these poses is how the shapes for the torso and the pelvis work in different views. The first girl is completely twisted around, but the torso is still the same. But we're seeing her practically in profile, or slightly 3/4. Okay, so we place the chest a little above the sternum, although we don't have to actually draw this. We'll carry on with the muscles of the abdomen and the legs coming out of the pelvis. As you can see, the legs are quite slim. Even though she's a strong woman, we can't see her muscles that well. And this is important. We're used to drawing male muscles when we study anatomy. We have to remember that a woman is usually slenderer. And this can look more simple and elegant in some cases, but it's important to understand it. With the second woman, we have a perspective from below, so we obviously need to draw it this way. See how the pelvis and the torso are seen from below, and we can see the base of the rib cage and the pelvic bones. Now I'll show you images we've drawn without the photos, so you can see how the pose works. So there we have the two previous poses and the one that we've just done. We're going to start drawing the female body. So we'll start drawing simple shapes or boxes. Don't panic or get frustrated. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just draw simple and basic shapes. Imagine that everything is like a box. As you see here, we have the arms and the shoulder muscles. And now I'm drawing the biceps and the triceps. We'll do the same for the other arm. Imagine that the arms are like tubes. The muscles of the chest come out from under the shoulder muscles. Right now we're drawing a strong woman. This way we can see all the muscles and we know where they go. See how we can draw the joints like circles and then draw the limbs like tubes or like prisms. Finally, we'll draw the base of the neck like a trapeze, the neck, collarbone, this neck muscle known as the SCM going downwards. I'll paint the silhouette in black so you see how it's looking. Remember to use basic shapes first, and don't get frustrated if your drawing doesn't look exactly like mine. It doesn't have to, and remember that practice makes perfect. So what I'm going to do is draw 3 different body types so you can see how they work. The first one is a standard body type with more or less balanced proportions. So we have the first 2 boxes, the pelvis and the torso, and we're drawing the arms from the lines of the shoulders and placing the chest above the sternum. The second pose is exactly the same, only the woman will be slightly more stylized and therefore slimmer. So place a line between the thighs. As if the woman is slim, there is a gap in this area. Place the line of the hips like this, and these bones coming out here. This is also important to remember when we're drawing a slimmer woman. To the third pose, I'm adding more of a curve and making the waist slightly wider. So this woman is more voluptuous, more like a comic book hero. So to sum up, drawing these women, I've given you an idea of how female anatomy works and the shapes that make it up. It's quite simple as there are just 2 main shapes, which are the pelvis and the torso, and this is what we've seen throughout the lesson and will continue to do so for the rest of the course. Okay, so in the next lesson, we're going to block the body in different views so you can really understand how to change the poses of a character. I hope you enjoyed this first lesson, and I'll see you for the next one.